Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Lichtenberger, and I am, for those of you that don't know me, I am a math teacher at Abraham Lincoln High School. And what we have here, we have a quadratic equation that we want to solve by factoring. X squared plus 5x minus 14 equals 0. So to do that, what we want to do in particular is we want to look at our linear coefficient, which in this case is positive 5, and we want to look at our constant term, which in this case is negative 14. And what we need to do is we need to come up with two numbers, and I'm going to call those numbers A and B. We need to come up with two numbers A and B whose sum is equal to the linear coefficient. So two numbers A and B such that A plus B equals 5, and whose product is equal to the constant term. So two numbers A and B such that A times B equals negative 14. So two numbers that add up to 5 and multiply to negative 14. So because we know that the product in this case is negative, that means one of those two numbers has to be positive, one of those two numbers has to be negative. If a product is negative, then one of them is positive, one of them is negative. The question is which one? Well, for that, we're going to look at the sum. The sum in this case is positive. So if the sum of two numbers is positive, then I know that the quote-unquote bigger number has to be positive. So we're going to have a positive and a negative, but the quote bigger number is going to be positive. And the two numbers that work in this case is 7 and negative 2. 7 plus negative 2 is 5. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. So since those are the two numbers that work, I automatically know that my two factors are x plus 7 and x minus 2. That is the factored form of this quadratic equation. Once we get to that point, we're going to use something called the zero product property. The zero product property. Okay. Whenever I have two things that multiply to 0, in this case, I have two factors that multiply together to get 0. Whenever two things multiply to 0 by our number properties, we know that at least one of those two things has to be equal to 0. So to find our solutions, I'm going to take the two factors, x plus 7 and x minus 2, and I'm going to set those both equal to 0 and solve for x. All right, so for the first one, I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. So x, our first solution is going to be x equals negative 7. And for our second one, we're going to add 2 to both sides. So our second solution is going to be x equals 2. So my two solutions are x equals negative 7 and x equals positive 2. That is how you solve a quadratic by factoring. If you would like some extra practice on that, I actually went ahead and set up a Khan Academy class with some videos and practice problems to help you guys out. So I'm going to show you how to sign up for that. If you go to khanacademy.org, this is what comes up, and you're going to go to log in. And you're going to click on continue with Google. You're going to log in with Google, not with Facebook. When you log in with Google, you're going to log in with your CBCSD account. And when you do that, this comes up, and you're going to click on Teachers. And where it says Join a Class, you're going to enter this code right here. This code that I'm highlighting on the screen right here. You're going to enter that where it says Join a Class. So I'm going to do that here. You're going to enter that code, and when you join a class, you can see my name pops up as your teacher. And once you do that, let me refresh the page here. Once you do that, if you click on assignments, it will take you to what I created for you. So there are some articles, some videos, and some practice problems, all that have to do with solving quadratics by factoring. These, of course, are not graded. They will not count. This is completely voluntary. It's just if you want some extra practice for solving quadratics by factoring.